These are two different nations with their culture, with their identity, with their history. Some of them consider that Americans are arrogant. I've noticed that Canadians don't like this type of behavior, that Americans imagine themselves superheroes. I even know that some Americans, when they go to travel to Europe, they attach Canadian flags to their backpacks so that people would think that they're Canadians. Pretty much they invaded the States. Hello my dear friends, in this video I'd like to tell you what do ordinary Canadians think about America and Americans. But before I begin, I'd ask you to subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's a great support to me. Please and thank you, as we say in Canada. Let's begin. We had a snowfall. This night. It's 24th of March and we still have so much of snow. It just fell overnight, guys. Welcome to Newfoundland. So everything what I know is based on my historical research and on my experience of living here during the past year, a bit more than a year, communicating with ordinary Canadian people. Anyway, let's begin. I feel that talking about this topic, we can't omit the history and the historical background behind the Canadian-American relationship. Actually, like when we talk about America, and as for me, for Ukrainian, I was always wondering, why do we call only one particular country America if in both Americas there are like 25 countries, something like 26 countries, and only one of them is called America. And the answer lies in the history that the United States of America was the first American nation that proclaimed independence from European colonizators. So it's from American Revolution the great divide between the United States of America and Canada began, when Americans wanted and they hoped that Canadians would join them and form a one nation, join them in their fight against Great Britain. But it didn't happen. Canadians supported the British. They defeated the Americans. They defeated the invasion of Americans into Canada during the American Revolution of 1776-1783. But the second conflict of these two nations happened in 1812. There was one episode in that war that British troops, and surely there were some local Canadians, and in my conversation with my Canadian friend, when we were talking about the history of Canadian-American conflicts, he told me, and we were when we were like discussing the nature of those conflicts and the origin of Canada, when I told him that in that time it was still Great Britain, right, and the colony of Canada, he told me like he could take a credit for this. So like he counts this victory as a Canadian victory. I'm not sure if it was a victory. And anyways, the result of the war, there were no territorial gains, but British and Canadians burned the White House, and pretty much they invaded the States, guys. And probably you would be surprised to find out that America, the United States of America, right, was nurturing the plan to invade Canada. One day there was a plan to attack Canada during the American Civil War, and such plan was on the tables of the American Chief of Staff even until the end of the First World War. I'd like to mention that Canada also had a plan to invade the States. To me, it looks a bit ridiculous. But anyway, after that, guys, Americans and Canadians fought in the First World War, if not side by side, but on the same side, as a part of Entente, right? And in the Second World War, sometimes they would fight side by side. At the landing on the beaches of Normandy, they were pretty much fighting side by side, right? And from that point of history, Americans and Canadians, they were like something Ukrainians and Russians. Not very much similar, not the same definitely. These are two different nations with their culture, with their identity, with their history, but they were pretty much on the same page of history, on the same side. They fought together in the Afghanistan War of 2003, that began in 2003. Canadians rejected to participate in the invasion of Iraq, but pretty much until recently, these were like two friendly, if not brotherly nations. Again, I would say, as many Ukrainians considered Russians to themselves. But the situation turned upside down when Donald Trump, in the beginning of 2025, stated that he would like to add Canada to the States as the 51st state, and he wouldn't exclude that such unification would be forceful. Now, I don't know, was he talking seriously? But if a president of the United States doesn't exclude the invasion of another country, of a country that was always friendly to the States, can you imagine the attitude of Canadians? Their outrage towards the American government. So those words of Donald Trump pretty much defined the attitude of Canadians towards the States, towards Uncle Sam, and I would say this is what we felt towards Russia when Russia was threatening to Ukraine somewhere in the beginning of 2014, and when the whole situation was when the whole situation was just beginning. That's what we felt, like bitterness, outrage, distrust, right? At the same time, on a personal level, many Americans and Canadians are interconnected. When here in St. John's, I believe from 1940 here there were stationed American troops. The matter is that in 1940 Great Britain negotiated with the States a deal. It was called Bases for Destroyers. When, in order to stay in the war, Winston Churchill got, I believe, 100 ships destroyers, ships destroyers, right? Destroyers from the States, and instead they gave away to the States all their military bases in the Western Hemisphere, and one of them was here in Newfoundland, because in 1940 it was a colony of Great Britain. It wasn't a part of Canada. It was still British colony. And here in St. John's, actually not far from the place where I live, there was an American military base which stayed here until the beginning of 1960s, and many Americans married local girls, and they went to live to the States. Some Americans, actually quite few, much fewer than Canadians who went to the States. Some Americans stayed here with their Canadian wives. So the history is very much intertwined and interconnected. Here is what some of the Canadians told me relating towards the Americans. Some of them consider that Americans are arrogant, because it's understandable, right? They think that they are from the best country in the world. Their country is the richest, the most mighty one. Actually, Russians have, many Russians have this kind of like chauvinism, or kind of this haughty attitude, right? So as we can say, some Americans feel the same, that they are from the best country, the strongest country, they are proud about it, they're very confident, sometimes too confident, and that's why some of the Canadians think that they are haughty, arrogant, noisy, loud, and this is not how people in Canada behave. I even know that some Americans, when they go to travel to Europe, they attach Canadian flags to their backpacks so that people would think that they're Canadians. There is a belief that in the world there is a better attitude towards Canadians rather than to Americans. Another friend of mine who actually traveled to America a couple of times told me that if someone speaks like English on a native level, like a native English speaker, but acts in a different way, not the way how Canadians do the things, they think that he probably is an American one. Guys, and in 2026, in the end of February, beginning of March, a new page of world history, of the 21st world history, unraveled when Donald Trump make a decision to attack the base in Iran. And again, Canadians divided in their attitude. Mostly they shared a negative attitude towards Donald Trump because he attacked a sovereign nation. He didn't consult this with anyone, as he does, or as often Americans do. And first of all, he disrupted global chain, global whatever stability left after the beginning of Russian-Ukrainian war. And like the prices for everything in the world, in the many countries of the world, are surging for gas, like I can tell you already. And at the same time, we still don't know the true outcome of this war, the true consequences, what it can cause, what it can trigger, and when it's going to end. From one side, it seems like Americans did a good thing. They removed a bad guy, the president, or so-called Ayatollah Khamenei. But at the same time, we can see that with this removal, the situation didn't improve. It's only escalating, and there is no end to this war in the nearest future. To this all, we need to add Trump's threats towards Greenland, his plans or his threats or his blubbering to invade Britain or to invade Panama, trade wars with Canada, trade wars with Mexico, and generally his general behavior and disrespect towards everyone, including Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. When Trump mentioned that Ukrainian president was not wearing a proper suit during the meeting with him. I've noticed that Canadians don't like this type of behavior, that Americans imagine themselves superheroes. They want, on one side, to save the world, on another side, they can humiliate someone. It's not the way Canadians behave. They usually tell you, in schools they usually teach you to use in schools they teach you to use inner voices, not to be so outspoken, not to think that you are better than someone. At the same time, in the States, they teach children to be champions, they want them to be rich. They prepare students for the fight in the global market, while in Canada, the most important is just not to be overstressed, and the life is here slow-paced. The most important is just to enjoy the life. Alright guys, I hope this video was useful for you. If you want to come to Canada, to live, to study, to immigrate here, you're very much welcome. If you are considering where to immigrate in the world, please take into consideration Canada. Anyway, I wish you to make your dreams come true. Take care and goodbye.